Well, hello there, and thank you for tuning in to the Shameless Sex Podcast. I'm Amy, sex educator, somatic sex and relationship coach, and sex shop owner.
And I'm April, VP of an international high-end pleasure product company and boss queen sex toy mogul. We're best friends who make our own rules about who we are as sexual beings.
With everything from how to be a badass in the bedroom, to pussy praising, to top tips for bringing your relationship to the next level, we have something just for you.
So sit back, relax,
and enjoy the show. Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. Hello, everyone.
¿Qué pasó, amigos?
Oh,
everywhere.
Español, sí, señorita. April has been in Mexico. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Just San Diego, which is close to Mexico.
It was once Mexico.
It was once Mexico.
so was Santa Cruz. Viva Mexico.
Factoid of the day.
So April, so we haven't seen each other since the Oregon Eclipse Festival, since the eclipse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and when we taught, so it's been a while, a couple of weeks. I went to Burning Man.
I know. How was the playa?
It was hot as balls.
I heard that it was
sweaty
hot.
balls.
Oh my God.
It was like the hot, my 6th year and the hottest year I've ever experienced, and it was almost like just trying to survive in the day because you're in the desert, right? Like, of course, there's like shade here and there, but it's tent.
Do people have enough water?
Yeah, I didn't see any dead people starving. That's
a plus.
But I'm sure there was a lot of people that got heat stroke and dehydration. And it was, what I will say, one of my biggest takeaways is I've been doing the festival thing, and it's really awesome to teach. I taught 2 workshops there, and I love, giving back in that way.
What workshops did you teach?
I taught conscious erotic touch and my tantra class. And it was awesome. It was really fun. And I'm kind of festivaled out. I'm kind of
not a surprise, dude. You're back to back to back to back to
3
back.
of them, right? Yeah.
You lived in a car for a month and a half.
My partner and I had this goal of going to the Orgy Dome. And we were said, we're going to the Orgy Dome.
What is an Orgy Dome for those of us that don't know?
Okay, so it's a dome there. It's like a dome that they have. It's called the Orgy Dome. And one side of it, you go in, and it's for, we just want to play on our own. Like, so you go in there with another person. You can't just go in on your own and be a voyeur. You go in there outside on your own, and you can have sex with your partner or partners, and other people can watch you, but they can't come and touch you and try to play with you. And it has another side that's we want to play with others. So you go in there, and it's kind of like not a free-for-all, but
are there
like,
condoms?
Didn't go, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I've heard.
You never ended up going.
No, we didn't go. We had this goal of going to Orgy Dome, and for me, it's just I've had public sex I wouldn't say public. I've had sex in rooms where there's been other people I know in there, but not in a room with a whole bunch of strangers. And I don't even know if it's my jam, but I'm really into just trying new edgy things, and so we wanted to try it, but it just didn't. We just never got a big yes. This is my goal last year too, and it just never happened. So that didn't happen.
Anybody out there has experienced the Orgy Dome,
well, I know people have gone. They love
it.
But other people too. Share your Orgy Dome stories. I've heard.
Yeah, that would be great. Share it with us, or if you have questions about making an Orgy Dome. I'm just kidding. We have no idea how to make an Orgy Dome.
Hey, before we dive into our podcast, so today our topic is. I totally excluded you. Do you want to talk about what you're up to?
I mean, God, you give zero fucks about me anymore. I don't see her. She doesn't call. She doesn't write. She gives zero fucks about what I'm doing.
I do care. Well, this is the thing. We just talked about this. We're not going to do the sex life update anymore because we are getting some feedback that some people are like, just get to the point.
But here's the thing. You can't please everyone. Just like in the bedroom.
Some people are like,
some people want it quick. You want a quickie. Some people want a longie. We're just going with the fact that we do us, and we're feeling like the sex life update isn't as important. If there is something important that when we can share, but I feel like sex has been, on the regular.
Is it because we're in relationships now?
Maybe, but I realize that I'm a horny bastard.
Really?
Oh yeah, I knew it before, but now I really got affirmation about that.
I want to be a horny bastard.
I'm a horny bastard. I don't know. I like it. I'm in touch with my sexuality. But now I've just been working a lot and spreading the voice of Hot Octopus all over the globe. I'm headed to Europe next month. We're going to Europe together.
Woo, we'll be podcasts from Europe.
Yeah, and I was in San Diego and Phoenix, and I don't know. Where else was I? I'm going to Vegas. We're going to Vegas together, too. Yeah. So we have some trips coming up.
We got a lot of travel, yo.
But in general, my life is good.
I want to go back to how did you realize you're a horny bastard?
So, new partnership.
Yeah.
You know, and I was driving back up from San Diego, and I was all like, meh, you know, like.
I don't know what that means.
It means like, I was like, you know, kind of PMSing, and I was like, dude.
I was being like demanding, like, I want sex now.
No, I just felt like, I was like, I haven't had an orgasm in like 24 hours. So he's like, why don't you just get out your toy and.
While you're driving?
Yeah.
Were you in the car?
Well, I was in the car. So I actually used the toy and squirted all over the passenger seat twice.
You use a
2 different times.
Magic wand?
Magic wand,
everyone.
I used
the squirting go-to.
So I literally pulled over on the side of the road, grabbed it out of my suitcase because he has a truck. Yeah, he just watched. Well, he fingered me as I used the magic wand.
Extra, it even got hotter.
It was really fun, and and then after the first time I came, I was like, I felt a sigh of relief, and I felt so much better about my day. And I was like, he's like, wow, you're really smiling now. I was like, dude, I feel like way better. He's like,
it makes you feel alive.
I had to.
It's life
it
force
was like a
energy.
release. It is, and I needed it. And I told him, I'm like, an orgasm a day keeps the doctor away, and this is what I need.
Screw the apples.
And I said, if you're unavailable right now, you're driving. I'm like, if you want to feel and get up on this, you're more than welcome. But otherwise, you're just gonna have to watch.
Woo!
So there you go. There
Strong,
you have it.
empowered woman.
So I know, gotta feel it. So then the second time came because we're driving from San Diego to Santa Cruz, so it was quite a feat. And so I was like, oh hey, I think I need some again.
Wow.
So then I was drinking Sophia, one of those Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, the champagne
in a can.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a good. So drinking a little bit of champagne in a can, looking at the window, working at the same time, trying to close some deals. And then I was like, you know what? It's time for me to have another orgasm.
Yeah.
And so he was like, you are just doing it.
He's
I was like,
you're a horny bastard.
Yep. And I had a towel under me, and the towel, I was like, let me just go wash this for you.
That's awesome.
So I'm a horny bastard.
I like it. That's so awesome. So I just want to comment on the sex life update. So everyone, if we bore you with our sex life updates, we're not going to keep them as long as we have in the past. They're still going to come up because April and I, this is actually part of our processing thing. Like we haven't talked about.
But this is
sex.
this is what we did. This is what we did before we had a podcast.
Oh, yeah, we're doing this all the time.
This is
like,
why
what's the latest in your dating life?
Exactly. We're like, what's going on? How's the sex? What's happening? Which is what I do with my friends now. I'm like, what's going on? How's the sex? Tell me about the sex. What's happening?
And it's just part of the downloading, and also maybe it'll give some of you some ideas on ways to spice things up, which is kind of close to our topic here.
Right. Which we wanted to pull some questions for people maybe that are not so niche. We wanted to reach out to the masses. And there's a lot of folks out there that are in relationships and monogamous relationships that perhaps want to spice things up, or maybe they're feeling the everydayness of a relationship and sex isn't as prevalent or as frequent as it used to be.
Yeah. So our topic today is going to be keeping the fire burning in long-term relationships. And you can define long-term relationships. Some people will say a month is a long-term relationship for them, and some people will say it's a year. Some will say it's 8 years. So you get to define what long-term means for you before we dive in.
And it's also not hetero-specific. This is specific
for
to
everyone.
Relationships in general. Yeah. And P.S. I like to point out we do use a lot of hetero. I feel like we use normative stuff a lot of times, and that's because Amy and I both identify as hetero. I'm heteroflexible. Amy's heterosexual.
No, you like the pussy a little bit.
But I do like the pussy a little bit, but I'm on a cock for the most part now.
She's on the D.
All the time.
She's on the D, but she's
on my own. I'm on my own V.
Cool with the
I'm
V.
on the D.
Yeah.
Yeah, vitamin D. Never hurt anybody.
No, and we're trying to speak to everyone, and so especially for something like this is really for everyone. And I understand that, you know, your queer relationship might be very different from your average straight relationship, and one straight relationship is different from the next straight relationship. So they're all different. Some of these things might apply to you and they may not.
Right. But we like to encompass everyone.
Yeah, we're trying.
We're all inclusive as much as we can be.
And we were going to have a queer sex episode. I need to have my sex educator friend Jamie on here to do that. I can use that name because they're now, you know, sex educators.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we'll do that. But anyways, okay. So before we go into this topic, I want to do a little shout out and a plug to my mommy.
My mom.
Mommy.
She's also like kind of my mom.
Yeah, she's your mom.
I love her so much.
Your mom, who I
celebrated like
yet.
2 or 3 or 4 Mother's Days with her.
I know you have.
It's always so fun.
Yeah, my mommy, and I can
her.
use her name too. Her name is Janice. Mommy's awesome, and I'm giving her a shout out for being super awesome. And We talk about sex toys all the time on here. We talk about Hot Octopus. We just talked about the magic wand. If there's anything that we talk about that you find intriguing, Mommy Dearest owns an adult store. It's called Pure Pleasure in Santa Cruz. And if you go to purepleasureshop.com, you can get any of the sex toys we have at 20% off. Is that what we do? No, 15.
15.
I lied. Sorry, homies.
Ooh.
15%
15% off.
So when you buy something on there, if you use the coupon code Shameless PP in all caps. So Shameless PP like Pure Pleasure. Shameless PP, all caps. And then
or
you get
Shameless
the
PP. Like, my PP is so shameless. Because, when I was little, I called it my PP.
What'd you call it, PP?
My vagina was my PP.
Really?
Yeah, my
Is it because your brother had a PP, so you had a PP too?
We all had PPs.
PP and a VV and a...
Yeah. I had a PP.
I like that. It's really cute. You and Barry.
Shameless PP.
No, not purepleasure.com. .com. All right, anyways.
That's good. Actually, I want to say, though, if you're in Santa Cruz, if you're in Northern California, you've never been to Shameless Sex. If you've never been to Pure Pleasure, the store is gorgeous. It's like shopping at a boutique spa. It's so pretty. Like, your mom is such a great
Mom's got it dialed
aesthetic, and she knows like ambiance. So, and if you're not obviously in Santa Cruz and you're in Tennessee or Arkansas or Florida or Dubai, hopefully you're in Dubai and listening. I would love
that.
If
they can order from Pure Pleasure at Dubai.
Oh, well, we should make that happen. Yeah. But the website's really nice too, and it's not going to look dirty on your screen if you're at work. Your boss will be like, "Oh, what are you looking at? That's nice."
Raunchy.
Hey,
not raunchy.
No, it's not raunchy at all. It's only sweet and sexy.
That's my plug. That's my plug. So shout out to Mom. Okay, so keeping the fire burning in long-term relationships.
Damn.
Okay, this is like what really...
Let's talk about personal experiences first, because I think that's important. Have you had a relationship before, Miss Amy?
Yes.
That the fire... And you were in a long-term relationship a few times.
I've had a couple.
That the fire stopped burning and you had to spice it up.
Oh, yes. Well, okay. I will say that the current... I'm in a long-term relationship now. We're going on 4 years. And there's many reasons why it doesn't feel like that we have to do a lot to spice it up. There's always room for more, though, right? There's always room to make things more spicy. And but we've just been through this roller coaster, and we fulfill each other's core erotic themes. So it's kind of like always had, and we don't have kids. We're not married. Right. We don't even live together yet. We're moving in together soon, but we don't live together yet. So those are a lot of reasons why it's pretty easy for us right now. And so even though we've merged and we're in a partnership, then it isn't feeling quite like a struggle. And I think the number one thing is really we fulfill each other's core erotic themes. And if you don't know a core erotic theme, go listen to episode 2. But I would say my other long-term relationship with my first love, for the first year or two, we were only 18, right? So this is not a really great comparison in my book. But, from the first year, great sex, really connected. Weren't meeting each other's themes. We didn't even know what they were.
The 3 rule.
Year 2 still good, but once year 3 rolls around,
I'm telling you, dude.
I was like, why don't I don't want to have sex with you anymore.
It's like 3 months, 3 years, so 3 weeks. Yeah. Usually can rule it out.
3 dates too. 3 dates. I believe in that too. First 2, you're like,
you're like, oh my god, and then and it's 3 years, 3 months too.
Yeah.
But. So I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're fine,
but totally.
It is. And so for us in that, it's not a good comparison or a good example because we were just so young and we didn't even know how to explain what we wanted sexually because we didn't even know.
In your 20s, it's hard.
Yeah, I didn't know that I liked dominance, or I kind of knew but didn't know how to say it. So what I'd say to him was I want you to make me feel small because I'm over 5'9". And he was like 6 feet tall, and
he is,
and
he's still here.
Yeah, he's still here. He is, and I live with him now. He's one of my best friends. Like we are in a great relationship, but we're just not in a sexual relationship anymore. And so I didn't know how to explain it. I was like, I want to feel small. Like I want you to make me feel small, which really meant to me I want to be dominated. I want to feel taken care of.
Right.
No idea how to convey that. Didn't meet each other's themes.
So if you're in your 20s and listening, these are things you can do to help. If you're in a relationship and feeling, not that you want to be dominated, maybe you want to be dominated, but these are tools. You can change the lack of sex if you're not having.
Any age and you're like, okay, there's a disconnect in our relationship. Like, because what ended up happening is I didn't want to have sex with him anymore. sex became a chore and a burden and not something I craved. I was on birth control then, hormonal pills.
Hormones can kill your sex vibe.
But I blamed it on them because I didn't get it. I was like, I love him so much, and all I wanted was to be in love with him in a way where I wanted to have sex with him and be intimately connected with him. But I just wasn't there, and I didn't get it. I was like, it must be the hormones. I don't understand, la la la. And
would you still have sex with him when he wanted to, or would you kind of pass and make up excuses?
A little bit of both. There was a little bit of a rejection that he would receive, and also I would still have sex with him. But it was clear that I just wasn't fully there. And to this day, I would say there's two things there, which are great for what we're talking about here. One is the core erotic theme, where I didn't fully know what I wanted. I didn't know how to convey it, and he didn't know what I wanted. And he, same thing. And so he wasn't meeting my theme, and we weren't matching. And it doesn't mean that we would never have been sexually compatible. To this day, now that I know him still, I don't think that we're sexually compatible.
And her theme, by the way, yes, you can tune in, but she wants to be taken care of.
But usually by a big, strong, dominant man.
And it's dominant. It's a dominance thing. She wants to be feeling like the subordination clause.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like daddy's taking care of me. Right. I can surrender to it. And now it's funny because now
and it's not like a BDSM thing at all. It's
it can be.
Why? But in your case, it's really it's like most of your sexual experiences. You really just want to be dominated.
The theme is not BDSM specific, but one of the movies, like many outlets that I can get the theme fulfilled, can be BDSM. It can be tantric, it can be BDSM, it can be all kinds of things. Now, I was going to say that now that I know him, who he is as a sexual being today, because now he's my best friend, we actually still wouldn't be compatible because he wants to feel taken care of. So, and that's there's nothing wrong with that, but we would have both been like, well, I want you to take care of me and I want you to take care of me. So what do we do? And if you're in a relationship like that, where you have two themes that feel like they're the same or conflicting.
That's what's happening with my relationship.
Really? Okay. Oh, yeah. So alternating nights. So tonight you're going to take care of me, and tomorrow night you're going to take care of me.
I'm with a giver, and I'm a giver. I come when I know that my partner is going to come. I'm and it's really been tricky, but I've identified the core erotic theme based on like previous, experiences with you talking about this, and it's been super fucking helpful.
Yeah.
So
explain more about that.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you. I interrupted you.
Oh, no. We're flowing, Chip. We're flowing.
Oh, we're one. Yeah. You and I, we're singular.
Yeah.
So that was something that came up initially because we kept running into these roadblocks of no orgasm for either of us. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I am like a pro at having dudes have an orgasm, possibly,
making them come. So goal oriented.
Yes, I'm a fucking achiever. I'm a doer.
Hustler, yeah. Closing deals. Orgasms are deals.
Pretty much. So I was like, what's going on? He's like, I can feel your energy and I'm feeling as though like you're not going to come. I'm like, because I'm waiting for you to come and I know you're not going to come. He's like,
oh God, you get a double psych out.
Yeah. I'm like, well, dude, you're in your head. He's like, you're in your head. I'm like, fuck, I know. Damn it. So I was like, I'm going to get in my body. And I think what we should do is a 50-50 rule.
Ooh.
And because I love the grind, he loves the pump.
Oh, yeah. So, a little pump and a little grind.
Yeah. So we'll do 50-50. So I like being on top, but I also like, I'm not only a dominator. I do like to be dominated, but it's like a time and a place for me. And with this particular situation, I realized that it's like literally 50-50. So we'll do a preemptive touch up on me like before playtime. So I'm using my toy. I'm like, he's going down and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. I'm like, okay, get inside of me, hurry. And like, cause like things are happening. And then I'll get on top. And then, right now I'm like, let's do the grind. And then he's like, okay, I'm feeling the pump coming on. I'm like, yes. Cause I know he's about to come. So it's been working.
Good.
But it's all about communication.
Oh yeah.
And so I worked it out. We realized early on that we're both such givers. So we have to split the things 50-50, whether it's one night or in a night or.
That's funny. You guys are the opposite of where my issue was like two receivers.
Yeah.
And receivers who still like to give and be in service, but like really like to receive. And you guys are like, but we like to be in service. We just do.
I'm a doer. So that being said, I think in a new relationship, I think the most beneficial thing you can do to achieve what you want.
And not just new relationships.
I know, but I think that in my situation, let me be specific. In my situation, communicating, it's the first time I've ever done that in a committed relationship. When I was with my tiers before, I was communicating because I just didn't give a fuck. But usually I play this role of, oh, I'm this sweet little housewifey kind of thing, like do whatever you want, it's going to be okay. But now I'm communicating with my partner, and it's fucking liberating.
Yeah, makes a big
so
difference.
That's what happened. And honestly, I have to share with everyone out there that's listening, it's not easy to communicate and be intimate. Like, it's hard to get in touch with your inner self.
Pimping ain't easy.
No. And being vulnerable. And this is the thing. And I've had to drag out some vulnerabilities this week, because I totally outed my own weakness. And I said, I was weak. I got weak about some ex stuff.
Weak meaning
vulnerable,
jealous, scared.
I got
fearful.
Insecure.
Weak. I don't. Okay.
Correct me.
I'm going to correct you with a little judgment.
Yes.
/ correction. Okay. Let's reframe, because I would calling it weak to be vulnerable is not, to me, is not empowered. It doesn't make you weak to have 100%. Feelings. Right. So,
but in my upbringing and in all of my experiences,
this is the shame,
vulnerability.
Piece
right. Exactly. So the weakness, feeling vulnerable, was weak to me. So
here's the example of we're constantly doing the work.
Exactly.
Like even every minute.
Even now.
Oh, me too.
All
for sure.
the time.
Yeah, and I get that. I totally get that. I had that too at one of the festivals where I felt a little bit of jealousy or whatever come up, and I was trying to just stuff it, and it's just. Yeah, it is a similar thing. So yeah, it's a normal feeling to have. But
so anyways, even when you're an empowered human, you can still have these moments of total and utter vulnerability where you kind of stuff them until you
explodes.
Well, I didn't explode. I realized what I was doing, and I was in tune with it. But I realized the experience I was having with my partner that I needed to address within myself. I was like, what is giving me these emotions? So I think if you're in a long-term relationship or short-term or whatever relationship you're in, if you're feeling feelings about a situation, regardless if it's another person, a sexual experience, whatever it is, kind of get in touch with like what's going on inside of you. And sometimes it's hard to verbalize, but incorporate some of the tools like the power posing and all of those things, and do the breath work.
Episode 14 had a lot of information about that, about the sexual empowerment. What was it? Erotic, step into your power.
That's exactly what I did to get in touch with what I was feeling. I was like, why is this happening? And I said, okay, I'm going to out my weakness right now, my vulnerability, my fear. Yeah. And I said, my fear is I've fucking been abandoned my whole life, and I'm afraid that like I don't give you enough sex, or I don't give you enough this, or I don't
enoughness.
Yes, not
That's
enoughness.
Such a big
and the
one.
don't. I don't do this, and it's so important to remember that we're only human, and we're creatures of habit. So I feel so much better now that I did talk about it, and it's out to my partner, and I feel like we made such a massive.
It's a breakthrough.
Growth spurt.
That's big, because those kind of things, when you can get through the mountains of things like, hey, I have a thing. And even if you were to say it and they were to be triggered by it, and all of a sudden it's a big deal, but you still work through it. Maybe it takes a week to work through it.
He was triggered, for sure.
He was triggered, right? So you work through it. But when you guys get through the hard things like that, it brings you closer together, because now your weakness that you thought was weak, that thing that you thought was weak, it's now been made. It's been accepted. It's been loved. It's been nurtured. And it's healing the old "I'm not enough" thing, or the story of I don't want to be emotional. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to be a hysterical woman. And so when we get through those things, it really creates deeper connection as well as heals too.
Yeah,
it's like, and I have heard couples, like on the note of long-term relationships, I've had some couples be like, relationships should be easy. People have been together like 6 years. It's like, who the fuck told you that?
No.
And I don't think that they can't not be, I think they can be easy, but I'm wondering if the people that have easier relationships, there isn't a lot of deep connection or conversation.
Look at parental units and like their relationship with their children,
like
the
business.
people they birth.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like if those relationships with even your parents are tricky at times.
Oh, friends,
all relationships,
lovers.
they all take a bit of your own self-work, self-value, what you can bring to the table emotionally, physically, and also what you can bring to the table for yourself. And loving yourself is the first fucking key.
Of course.
That
always starts with self, yeah. Well, and I would say that that romantic relationships or intimate sexual relationships, they are different than relationships with friends and all and business relationships, because they are reminding us of our parents, where they're re-triggering old stuff with our parents. And maybe you're one of those lucky people who didn't have a whole bunch of trauma with your parents. You probably had a little bit, but you didn't have a whole bunch. But then you probably had it in relationships with, the people that you usually date, the gender, the sex of the people you usually date. And so our new partners, they'll do something. You have abandonment stuff, right, April?
Oh,
so like
100%.
It's from daddy. It's from past partners. It's coming up from all over.
If I act a certain way, no one's going to love me because I'm the crazy one, or
I can't be too much.
Yeah, if
or
I'm
not
too
enough.
much, no, everyone's going to leave me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's totally the movie that plays in my head all the time. And I have to consistently remember, I am good. I am amazing. I am me. I'm going to continue to be me. And the people that choose to love me, I accept into my life, and I choose to love them as well.
Yeah. So in our relationships with our lovers, we have the room there to help each other heal. Like it's not that I'm going to heal you. It's that for my partner, it's that I'm going to hold space in such a way and allow and accept and still love them in their vulnerability in a way that heals old stuff when someone didn't do that. And that's really, really powerful. And it's not fucking easy. So when I hear couples be like, it should be easy, when I had an easy relationship, that same partner that I was dating where we stopped having sex after 2 years, that shit was easy because we weren't talking about the stuff. We weren't pointing out the elephant in the room like, hey, we're not having sex anymore. Hey, we're not communicating anymore. Hey, we're not spending time together anymore. We're doing our own thing. And that was really easy. And we would kind of like boast about it. Oh, yeah, we only fought twice in our relationship. And it was because we weren't working through the things. We were like putting it on the back burner. And so, yeah, some of us, maybe we have more dramatic relationships than others. And I would choose to have a relationship that has a whole bunch of bullshit over a easy, empty relationship any day.
And this is like one of my favorite quotes through my divorce. It was like something that empowered me. I've said it before. With any death comes rebirth, and death meaning with the death of an emotion. With that, so even if it's a fight, and some people fight just to fight so they can have the makeup sex, which is
can be hot and also can be really disconnected.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you're kind of doing the things that are.
That stuff can be really. You can have the makeup sex. It can feel really good in the moment, and then after, and then maybe like a couple hours after, or later that day, you feel great, and then you guys disconnect, and the next day it's a deep drop. Like,
people tend to repeat the same patterns, which is also something I'm working on in my new partnership. Not repeating the same patterns, which is me immersing myself in my work and not paying attention to my partner. So. Okay.
Because that's what you are doing.
That's what that's my history.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, we're planning a trip to Europe. You and I are going. He's going to meet me there. I'm all right, we need to talk about Europe. You need to get into my schedule. What time can you meet on Thursday? And he's like, do you want me to call your assistant? Because you're a jackass right now. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, this is my pattern. And this is what I do. I calendarize everything. And then I'm like, this is not a business meeting. This is me having a relationship. And I do this with my friends too at times. You've talked to me. You've talked to me about it. You're like, you're not closing a deal right now, Chip. You are
slow it down, Chip.
Making a dinner plan. And I'm like,
I like that. So I like that he called that out.
He did. And I said, thank you. I appreciated it. I said, thank you so much. I'm working on that. I'm literally going to do my very best to change that. And I think that's, again, when you're an insecure person, you're going to get on the defense. And I got on the defense at first. I was like, why are you getting angry with me? Like, why are you? Like, right? Mm-hmm. So instead I shifted it.
You. Oh, you did that.
I did it for a minute.
Empowerment out the window. But we all do this. I do this too.
But this is good to process. Yeah. So I said, okay. I said, let me backtrack and say, thank you for addressing that with me. I'm actually really working on that and I want to do better. So I appreciate
how are you gonna do
that.
better?
So I am not scheduling meetings with him about Europe. I said, hey, tomorrow we're hanging out. Let's like look at Google together and like look at some places in Croatia that we can stay at.
Yeah, plan together.
Right.
It's funny, you and I have such overlap. I mean, even though I've been with my partner off and on for 4 years, I am just learning how to be. So this applies to long-term relationships. Maybe some of you have experienced this as well.
Especially those folks that are in like serious jobs.
So how to be a team player.
Yeah.
Like you and I are both so used to being the self-sufficient woman, taking care of ourselves.
Oh my God,
and also the fear of putting so much of our eggs in one basket and that we might get abandoned.
You
and
just
left.
nail on head.
Yeah, totally.
That is so, oh my God.
So we're trying to learn. And so my partner has been doing an excellent job at like where this is the one, he's the one that's kind of in the past has like had more of a history of messing up in our relationship. And lately he's been schooling me. He's been like teaching me on how to be a partner and to not do what you're doing. Like, I'm just going to plan this thing and I'll just let you know and you can
well,
follow
I'm going to need
suit.
your help in.
It's a reframing. It's a reframing
totally.
Of thinking like
it's a reconditioning your brain
it is.
too.
It's creating a new neural pathway.
Right. And I am really, I'm cognitive when it comes to a lot of things, people's emotions and like making everyone feel good and fixing things and making everyone happy and trying to help people be happy. Obviously you can't make anyone do anything, but I do my very best to neutralize situations and create like positive experiences for everyone that surrounds me. Yeah. But I tend to do exactly that. Like be this independent powerhouse woman that's like, no, this is fucking how I roll. Like we're going to do this and I know it's going to be great.
Yeah. 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 So you can follow me and then they're like, where's the team player here?
Right.
Where's the partnership? And so I've had this stuff with my partner and like all I want is to be a team player and be like, this is he's offering me all my dreams to be in this connected relationship where we're creating together and building together. And I still have these moments where I'm just like Amy mode. So it's a learning process. And part of it is working through the fear of if I give you too much, that you might still hurt me.
Yeah.
Right. If I put all my eggs in your basket, if I let my guard down, you might still abandon me. It's a self-protective mechanism because we're so used to operating that way.
Well,
daddy issues.
Well, I tell you, my dude's pretty smart because he said that. He's like, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere.
Good. I'm so glad.
I know. He's like,
hey, cheers to that. We're drinking our wine. You out, girl.
Oh, yeah. We're drinking really great. It's actually, so I'm not a Chardonnay person
either.
and neither are you.
It's good.
And this is a great Chardonnay. It's unoaked, so it's fucking fantastic.
What is it called?
Rumbauer. It's like $30 a bottle, but it's great.
Delicious. Yeah, so shout out to your man. I just cheers him with my $30 glass.
And this is like his recommendation, so it's a good time to cheers it. But yeah, he said that on the phone. He's like, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere.
He knows good wine. Oh my God, he's he
can be fine at 555 Hot Babe.
Big deal.
So let's get back to the message at hand here.
So keeping the fire burning.
Keeping the fire burning. And we both
talked about ourselves.
We talked about ourselves, and it's hard not to sometimes. But we both have had a lot of dynamic experiences with relationships in and out of, and I think that it's important. And we also have good tools to combat sexless relationships or infrequent sex in relationships. Yes. And I think it's important to know that of course, there's no expert in this. Every relationship is different.
They're all different.
Everyone is going to handle things differently, but tools that are proven to help you get to places that have been effective, that have been used, are going to bring you to hopefully where you want to be.
So I want to start with something I probably talked about in past podcasts. So long-term relationships. There's a concept called desire discrepancy, meaning one partner has more sexual desire than the other. Maybe one has no sexual desire, one partner has sexual desire, but there's a discrepancy in it. They're different. They're on different levels. And actually, it's more common than not. Very rarely are there sexual relationships where both people are like, I want to fuck 6 days a week. Quite often it's, especially as time goes by, things shift. So if you're one of those people where you're like, oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Travel comes into play.
Travel a bit, and then you have kids,
right? Kids,
work, things.
You're exhausted. You're
just and we'll talk about the exhaustion piece in a second. But
yes.
There's things that come into play that get in the way. But I would say, if you're someone like desire discrepancy, meaning if you looked at your overall week of how often you wanted to have sex without all the things getting in the way, what would that look like? And there's a discrepancy. That's an amazing
thing to do. So you can get clear about your affirmations, write down what you want out of your life, what you're going to do, what you're going to achieve, how much money you're going to make, but write down how many times you want to have sex in a week. How many times? with your partner or with yourself or whoever. Write that down.
Well,
or
and
just
next
voice
level,
it.
write it down, and then talk to your partner. And I learned about this. I'm going to quote Dr. Drew right now. How cliche, but I really loved what he said.
He's got some good stuff.
He's got some great stuff, and I loved what he said. Helping someone, it was a woman calling in saying, my partner wants to have sex 6 days a week. I'm only like 2 days a week. I feel like he's pushing me too much. He's asking too much, and like, and I'm like, I'm tired half the week, and I don't even want blah blah blah. I shouldn't have to do this, and so what he said is, one, tiredness. So if you're deathly exhausted, like say you had a terrible night of sleep the night before, you slept.
And I've had girlfriends say that. I'm like, how many times are you having sex with your partner? And they're like, oh, I'm just so tired. I work so much.
We use tired so often as an excuse. Now, if you are deathly tired, like you have the flu, you're exhausted, your kid kept you up all night the night before, you just are having like tantrums and nightmares and you're just not sleeping, we get it. You're exhausted. If you're just tired from your 8 to 5 job, and maybe you have kids too, and like we are all fucking busy peeps, like we're all tired off and on, and you're falling into that being the primary excuse for why you can't connect with your partner. And Dr. Drew was talking about reframing that because there's ways to work around that. That's not a hard no.
If you're watching TV after work.
Yes. If you have time to sit down, watch TV, and go on Facebook.
Yeah. If you're on exactly. Facebook
Instagram.
is a way to literally suck out all of your sexual energy.
It's a distraction.
Turn all of that stuff off. Turn off your television. Turn off your social media.
No, and
light a candle after your kids go to bed.
Bedrooms. Look, and this is I'm gonna judge right now. Like I'm gonna judge hard.
Amy.
I'm gonna judge a
don't
little
be a judger.
Bit. Okay, this is.
I'm not gonna don't you. Oh my god, we're doing don'ts and shoulds and judging.
We're backtracking.
Damn it.
No, and I'm like, you can have a television in your bedroom, but if you're someone who's feeling disconnected with your partner in the sexual realm and you watch TV before going to bed, that might be one of the first things you want to stop doing.
In feng shui, electronics are actually. They're not only not recommended, but they could be debilitating because of the all of the waves, the waves, the magnets,
electromagnetic
fields. Yeah, good job.
Hey,
the
radioactive I have a lot
waves.
Of the people, the anti-cell phone people. They're like EMF waves, EMF.
Right? Yeah,
I know all about those.
I mean, I have a television in my bedroom, but it only has Netflix, and I only watch it like when I'm by myself because I'm just like. In my room probably 1 week a month.
Well, and I'm
it's
not
rare.
saying that you can't do that, but if you're like,
but I have to say, my partner watches TV on a regular in his room, and I've shut it off. I said last night when I got back home, I said, "Hey, can we shut off the TV and connect?"
Or connect, have sex, then turn the TV on.
Yeah.
Like create your time. There's just everyone's finding every fucking excuse in the book to dodge connection, and I get it because connection, especially when we're tired, is hard and exhausting.
But actually look at your partner. Be like, hey, look at me. Let's turn off all the things. Let's just hold each other. You don't have to necessarily have penetrative sex or
even
sex,
talk. Or you can just lay there.
Just lay there and hold each other.
Breathe together.
Make out.
Side by side, breathing together in a spooning position for 5 minutes.
Simple things. These are small little changes that you can do that are so easy.
Yeah, that's actually on. I want to talk about that one more time on for couples who are really busy, because we like talking about like the busy working people. They go and do their things all day and they come back and they have that normal, how was your day? That like monotonous conversation when like people are half listening and they're like, how do we connect? One really great tool there is to not even get into the conversation, go right into like laying down next to each other in a spooning position. The little spoon gets to lead the breath. So you're laying down side by side, big spoon's behind the little spoon. Little spoon leads the breath. So when they inhale, big spoon inhales with them, and then they exhale together. And they just do that for 5 minutes. No conversation, no moving, just laying there.
So let's do a role play thing right now.
Okay.
So let's say you are consistently, we can't connect. Okay. Like I get home day after day. And this happened with my ex. I can tell you my ex, like we get into like the small talk.
The small talk
routine where he had dinner for me when I get home because like I worked long hours, and I'd be like, so how was your day? And it was like bitter Betty, And so, so how was your day? Let's say, okay, wait, I'll be the angry spice.
You're going to be the angry spice to be like,
okay,
hey, what's up? How was your day? I had such a good day. I closed so many deals today. How was your day?
I don't know, not that great. It's okay.
That's it? Really? Do you want to hear about my day?
I don't really want to talk about it.
Really? What about my day? Can I talk about my day?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I want to.
You always do this. Okay. Now that was the unempowered the version. Okay, so here's the empowered version. Okay. Hey, what's up? I had such a good day. I closed so many deals. How was your day? What's going on?
I'm feeling okay. I made you dinner.
You did? Oh, I'm
kind of tired though.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm tired.
Me
I had
too.
A long day.
Yeah. Okay. Me too. Thank you so much for making me dinner. That was so thoughtful.
You're welcome.
I would love to connect with you. Would you be open to maybe we could just lay down and breathe together for 5 minutes? And
like when after dinner?
No, like right now. We just
right
continue
now?
some conversation. Just for 5 minutes.
What about the food though? I cooked all this food.
We could. we could eat that first, and I feel like our connection would be even better as we eat. If
Can we turn off the TV then?
I would love that.
All right, that
sounds
my God. Good.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
I don't even want this food anymore.
Fuck this food. Okay, so then we would lay down, and I would be in front. I'm the little spoon, and you're the little spoon, or
so
whatever.
So what do we do now that we're laying down?
So we're silent. We're wrapped around each other. So you're behind me. We'll say you're big spoon. I'm the little spoon, and I'll lead the breath. So when I inhale, you just breathe with me. You inhale. And so our bellies and hearts kind of move together, and we're just breathing together. And it's just for a couple of minutes, and all we do is breathe together and focus on the breath. And what happens here is when people, after 5 minutes, little spoon's like, okay, we're good. It's as if they had a 2-hour conversation and everything is connected now. All their guard is dropped, like all the stuff from the day. They're like, we don't even need to fucking talk about our day. Now I'm here. It's just me and you. This tool is brilliant for busy days when you're trying to reconnect, or you just have a disconnection, or you're in an argument and you're like, I want to connect with you, but I'm feeling really weird. You just throw this in for 5 minutes and it can be really healing.
Remember, it's your partner too for a reason. You connected with this person for a reason. So if you're feeling like the physical connection is not there and it's not present, then become present with your partner again. You remember the reason that you connected with them in the first place. Count on that and be like, hey, I fucking love you. I want to connect with you. Even if it's on a weekly basis, I need this for me.
Mm-hmm. And it's in those moments, out the discomfort. Like, say you're feeling really disconnected, but you want to connect. Like this comes up when we have our insecurities, right? Like an example would be like, I'm out at Burning Man with my partner and I just want to like kind of just like connect with them somehow. And I see them out there connecting with everyone else except for me. And so I could go and out it like, hey, I'm feeling kind of insecure. And also like, I really want to connect with you. Can we just have like 10 minutes together and then go into our and just out it and really ask for what it is that you're designing? Because what people do is they don't ask for it and they build resentment.
And remember, come from a me place, what you are asking for.
It's not you're out there talking to
never
everyone,
do this for me. It's like, hey, I need this. Yeah. This is what I want from like not even from you, just this is what I want. Yeah. This is what like really would bring me joy.
Yeah.
And I love you. I miss connecting with you. I love talking to you. You're an amazing fucking human. That's why I married you. That's why I'm in a relationship with you. That's why I've had children with you. That's why I'm here with you in this home. I want to connect with you.
Yeah.
And
you're my person.
You're my person.
I was just giving relationship advice today to someone that has been negotiating in an open relationship with their partner. And I was talking about the power of, if you're in a long-term relationship with someone, there's a lot of really sacred connection there in time. It's an investment.
It is.
This relationship that you built, whether it's a year, it's 4 years, it's 80 years, it's whatever, there is so much investment in there that, and especially if you're still feeling like that your person that you're with is your person, that is some powerful shit. And so when the insecurities are coming up, especially these people trying to negotiate this open relationship, to remember that this is this beautiful thing that gets hard sometimes and is uncomfortable sometimes. And sometimes I don't even want to fucking look at you, and you're my person and we put so much into this. That is sacred. That's really special.
And if you had children with them as well, that's even, I mean, that's God. Next level sacredness.
Super next level. Let's talk about the children piece here too.
Right.
About how much having children changes relationships.
Both Amy and I have tons of close friends with children or that are having children.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, like, women constantly, at least to me, express how their bodies have changed or their sex drive has changed or their lifestyles have changed and they have no more time for sex.
Yeah.
And my answer to them is always, you do have the time.
Yeah. Do you go? Yeah. Like you were saying,
I see you on social media liking my fucking Instagram stuff. You have the time.
Yeah.
It's you have the means as well. Now it's one thing if it's like, you know, your pussy is not where you want it to be with like pain or something. If you're in pain, like some people are like, I just have pain when I have sex. I'm like, okay, then maybe talk to a doctor.
Yeah, go to a doctor. Yeah.
But it's important to know that you can always make time for the things that you really value in your life. Always. And that's a rule with anything.
Oh, yeah.
Even with friends. Like you're like, oh, this friend always hits me up. I can't make time for them.
Busy.
I'm so busy.
Let's get clear. You really just don't want to spend time with that person.
Exactly.
And it's okay.
And if you really, really want to, you can make time. You can do it right now. Mm-hmm. And if you are wondering like how I'm so busy, I have 3 kids, I have 4 kids, I have 1 kid. It's screaming. It keeps him until 3 a.m. All right, that's fine. I get it. Or they're breastfeeding and, you're exhausted.
You might not be having sex as much as you used to. Like, right. I understand that. And your sex has changed. Like, this is what happens when you have kids. We age, we get an injury. Sex changes. And we change with sex. So there's 2 things there that are possible. So you have kids, right? Or maybe you just have like a really crazy busy job. Or you have a crazy busy job and you have kids. Whatever. Like, life is stressful and there isn't a lot of time. Now you have 2 options. One, the kid is asleep, and that is your little
moment
window.
Of quiet. You have a moment of quiet in your home.
Like, hey, I know this is feeling really rushed, but we need to connect right now. And maybe penetrative sex isn't on the table, or maybe you start to.
But
the kid
maybe you
wakes
can
up.
do the breathing connection. Maybe you can
just
incorporate
make out.
a sex
Maybe
toy.
You just rub
Grab
each
a
other.
queen bee from Hot Octopus. Grab it. Put it on your vulva. I'm a vulva owner. That helps me every time.
Feel good on all over the body. I mean, for the vulva, but I think
use
everyone
some Uber
can,
Lube and give an HJ if you have a penis owner in your home.
Oh, hey.
That you want a pleasure, or you want to feel pleasure from.
You're trying to find these windows. So that some of the windows are like we literally have a half an hour because we know our kid only naps for half an hour, or it's my lunch break from my crazy busy job, and I won't get to see you because by the time I get home tonight, you're going to be sleeping. So this is all we have to connect.
Make it sexy too. Be like, hey, let's fuck on the dryer.
Or
let's turn on the dryer while it's drying clothes. Let's fuck on the fucking dryer.
Or like let's just make out and rub each other.
Yes.
Or
let's do that.
Let's just like lay here and there's so many things. Like it doesn't have to be this.
Let's turn on Sesame Street and pretend we're Elmo and Big Bird.
Yes, and then have sex.
Yes.
What would that sound like?
Oh my god.
I love that's like Elmo.
I don't know even what Elmo's. What is Big Bird even sound like?
Is Elmo gendered? Like, would you call
no,
Elmo he?
They're non-gender.
Oh, they aren't?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Even better.
Is Big Bird gendered? No. That's why I love Sesame Street. It's totally out there.
Oscar the Grouch sounds like a grouchy old man.
Yeah, for sure. And Bert and Ernie were definitely a gay couple.
Awesome. Okay.
So, back to the message at hand.
All right, back. So now from our sponsors at Sesame Street, I want to comment on sex drive and spontaneous versus responsive sex drive. And I've talked about this in the past.
Hormones, totally. I want to say from a woman that ate sex.
What did you eat?
I ate sex. I ate
sex.
I ate contraceptive pills for years and years and years. It might be the wine.
I think them. Like usually people take the pills.
I ate pills. Ate pills that were like combating me getting pregnant.
I
swallow the pills. But I'm saying my sex drive was totally fucked, and I'm a sexual human. You hear me? I'm a horny bastard, as we addressed earlier.
A bastard.
I know. I mean, I have a father, but I'm not like Jon Snow.
Wasn't really around
I'm not Jon Snow. So I literally had no sex drive forever. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I can totally connect with that because I didn't talk about this in the beginning, and I won't talk about it long because we only have, a short amount of time here on the podcast. But in my first long 6-year relationship with my first partner that was significant, I had 0 to no sex drive, like ever.
I know that feeling.
I was on oral contraception from the time I was 16 until I was 32, and I'm 35 now.
You were on it that long.
I was on it that long. I did a few different tests and other things. I did the IUD. I did the NuvaRing. I tried everything. And we're going to do a fertility episode because I do think that it's important to know that like there are other options than the birth control that's out there. There's actually natural options that can be very successful. But the point is, and you're going to address it, Amy. I think probably more in depthly, but I can feel like from a woman's perspective, and men, I know that heart medicine can affect sex drive, depression medication can affect sex drive, different sorts of medication for all different things, like Prilosec. You know, there's so many different things. Sorry.
The main thing that affects sex drive, yes, hormonal birth control, yes, medications that we're taking, and especially if it's SSRIs for depression things, and it's usually just disconnection. It's usually lack of communication. Right. Like, so I'm not saying that these things aren't valid. So I'm saying that those things are important, and I will prioritize the fact that the number one disconnect with people is that they're not talking about what's up. They have built layers of resentment.
You're right. And I didn't talk to him about anything. It was stuff,
You're
stuff,
holding
stuff,
it
stuff,
all
stuff,
in.
whatever.
So you think of your relationship that it has a foundation, right? The foundation is with the connection that you're building, and you get a crack in it. Oh shit. Every time you walk in the door, you don't hug me, but I'm not going to say anything, but it really hurts me, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to hold it in. And now every time they walk in the door, you get resentful because they don't do that thing.
Right.
And now you're building a case, and now you have a crack in the foundation, and it's going to be there until you rebuild it. You're
building a case that you only are the ones that are presenting the case to yourself.
To yourself.
Present it to the other person in a very loving way where you're going to get the results that you want.
Totally.
And which is what I, in retrospect, would have done differently now.
Now knowing.
Now that I'm like a more conscious, empowered human.
Yeah. Yeah. It's big. So it's not to say that there aren't symptoms, things that come from what we're putting in our bodies, SSRIs and other medications. And a lot of it is based on something that we're kind of contributing to or creating, or lack of what we're putting into something.
So your message right now as to what I just said is that
to really look deeper.
It wasn't the birth control, probably. It could have been. Not. It could have affected, but it was more or less my communicative.
It's probably
structure
that
with
there's deeper things there, and from what I'm seeing, people like. Yes, and so I'm saying that the things, those pills that you're putting in your body, they do have an effect on you. And
they can affect cocks for sure.
I know that all kinds of things,
and that hot octopus can help if you don't want to pay for Viagra. That can help you get an erection. But
and even with Viagra, let's talk about Viagra and that disconnected people. People weren't getting erections. Sometimes it is a blood flow thing. Sometimes it's based on the medications they're taking. It's an age thing, and a lot of times it's because there's shame. And there's a lot of stuff that's not being talked about. It's my partner gets mad at me or irritated or let down when I don't get hard. And now I'm not getting hard even more because I'm psyching myself out. So now I'm going to start taking those pills all the time to get myself hard whenever I want to.
And we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Remember something. And this is something I've used in my current experience because my partner has been in his head before and been unable to get a hard cock. He's like, it's an Adderall dick, I'm like, hey, first of all, it's okay. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. Yeah. There's no pressure on you. So that is something, I think, a tool that we've talked about before that's useful. No pressure. Just the love.
Yeah.
Like feel the love. And even if you're not in love with the person, let's say you're just in a casual situation, still feel the love, put out love.
Yeah.
That's important. Like, be like, you're okay. I really adore you. I'm here with you in this intimate experience. Or you just want to fuck it out. Still, if you want to fuck it out, just praise the dick then, or praise the pussy.
Or praise all the pussies, or all the dicks,
all the
bits, and maybe you don't call it a dick or a pussy. I don't know.
Whatever you want to call it.
I like the word bits.
The gems.
Okay, so long tangent. Spontaneous sex drive, bringing it back, versus responsive. So in long-term relationships, okay. So say we're in year one, we're brand new, we're just starting this relationship. Ooh, this is super exciting. We're in this lust phase. Yay, I just want to fuck you all the time because you're all new and shiny, and that lasts anywhere between 6 months to a year. Maybe it's only 2 months. It depends on you.
Sometimes 3 years.
Usually it starts to fade after a year, unless you're doing long distance all the time or you're in a roller coaster relationship where it's always exciting because you never get to see them or they're always hurting you and then you have makeup sex. But usually that's like a year is a pretty good stint in the lust phase. Now, spontaneous sex drive. April's identifying herself as a horny bastard. And I don't know if your horny bastardness it's not sounding like it's just because you're in a new relationship. It's just sounding like you realize that's just who you are. Now, quite often spontaneous sex drive, when it continues past lust phase, is more common in testosterone-driven individuals. People who have more testosterone flowing their bodies.
Power posing, you get an increase in testosterone and lower levels of cortisol. I'm just saying, I power pose on a regular. Maybe that's where my horny bastardness comes in. Thank you, Amy. Sorry about the interruption.
Episode 14 for that, power pose. And so what I'm saying is that this is more often in male-bodied individuals because they have more testosterone. Some female-bodied individuals have a shit ton of testosterone, and they experience regular spontaneous sex drive, and that's awesome. I am jealous of them, and I think you're one of them, April.
I do work out a lot.
She is ripped. This is my long-winded version of what happens in long-term relationships. Especially if you're dealing with people who are estrogen-driven, so either multiple female-bodied individuals or one female-bodied individual, one other individual, that person will get less phase and want to have sex a lot in the beginning, but after that it will fade, and that's when they have to be active players in stoking the fire. This is completely normal. So and this might even happen in a lot of people with testosterone, actually. Male-bodied individuals, sometimes they start losing desire too. What happens quite often is someone loses desire after a year. It's really normal, and I want to normalize that because people have a lot of shame about it. What's wrong with me? It must be the birth control, blah, 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 blah. No, now your response has changed, and now you are an active player in stoking your own fire. So instead of waiting for this thing to flow through you create it, either on your own or with your partner. And so you're an active player now. It's responsive. It's active.
I have 3 friends that I can think of off the top of my head because I talk on a regular to my girlfriends. A lot of times they're, female-bodied individuals that have partners that are male-bodied individuals in heterosexual relationships that are more long-term, like 2+ years, that their partners do not want to have sex with them on a regular basis as often as they'd like. Yeah. And they don't know why.
It goes other ways.
I have one of my closest friends who I adore that experiences this, and she doesn't know what to do. And it's actually, and she's like, I'm a sexual creature. I fucking need this. What do I do? Yeah. And I've given her a lot of tools. And
what are the tools? So of course, talking about it.
Well, talking about it and
therapy.
They're in therapy, and
sex coach.
And it comes down to a lot of the stuff is deep within himself, and he has a lot of shame, but he's not willing to deal with it, and he won't.
That's what's hard. Is so a lot of times long-term relationships, people will hit a crossroads where it's like, okay, here's where we're stuck, and one person's like, I don't want to do the work.
Yeah, and he's refusing to, and she's like, "I'm gonna be done."
That will kill relationships,
and it's killing their relationship.
Or it could be a restructuring. Hey, we're going to continue staying together, but I'm going to be sleeping with other people.
Well, that's what I suggested to her. I said, "Look, you need to." Well, I don't like to need or should people, but I said, if you want to stay in this relationship, what I would do is tell him that you want an open situation and see what the reaction is. And if that isn't a thing and an option that's not on the table, then, give it a little bit more time. And if it's still not, it's not an operational situation, because he fulfills her in every other way except sexual. And she has, I have 2 other friends.
And that's really common.
And it's very common.
Where people are like, everything's perfect except for sex.
Yeah. I can tell you, like, this is very much, especially in the professional world, with women like that are on the road, that are traveling a lot, that have like this like powerhouse situation. And it's probably, and I'm just speaking because these are the women that come to mind that have spoken with me about it. It's like they're in these relationships, they come home and it's this sexless thing. And I don't know if the partners, and it's not just hetero, I'm talking, this is like in all sorts of transgendered relationships and
just queer relationships.
All relationships.
It's just relationships.
And it's and I have a wonderful gay friend that is in a sexless relationship with his partner, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And I had to sit down with his partner, and I was like, look, like what's going on, and trying to get tools about getting in touch with his shame, like what happened with like within yourself, like why, what.
So that's the key right there. When we did our episode 14 on is it like 5 or 6 steps? I don't even remember, to erotic empowerment.
6, yeah.
When there's a desire discrepancy and it is based on someone has deeply rooted shit, whether it's shame or, there's something deep where someone is just like, I'm not willing to go there. That's where they need to go on their own. They need to go, not need, but like,
it's a roadblock.
That's what needs to happen. They need to go do the work.
And that's the time where they need to make the decision. They either you either move on from the relationship or lose the partner, or you have to
make a new relationship. Yeah.
And that's a hard truth. That's a fucking hard truth, but that is the fact. And people can say, "Oh, my grandparents were married for 55 years and they're happily married," or
they
"My parents are married." But this is the thing. This is 2017. Yeah. We're in this whole new shift, this whole new consciousness of society. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to live like my grandparents lived.
Oh, no. We are in such a blessed era where we know what we can have. And that's what's different from everyone else. Esther Perel, who wrote the book Mating in Captivity, and she does a lot of work on infidelity.
I'm listening to that. I have an hour left in my Audible.
God.
It's amazing.
So amazing. And so she's
from Belgium, and she has an amazing accent to listen to or read the book.
If she's really a genius. She has even some free stuff on Audible. You can listen to some of her sessions. I think she gets paid like $1,000 an hour. She's incredible. She talks about how our generation, people anywhere between, actually anyone that's probably under 50, I don't know. It's just more so than not, there's people on this planet that know, it's almost like a sense of entitlement. I know what I can have. I know I deserve happiness, bliss, great sex, deep connection. There's just so much more that's available to us. And so it makes it so when it comes to like infidelity and kind of like sneaking out and having these other things that make us feel good, there's a level of entitlement because we know that it's available to us. Whereas our grandparents had no fucking clue.
Well, people now are in relationships longer. People are living longer. And relationships, 100, 200 years ago didn't last 50 years. Yeah. That is like medical science. It's research and development of, products that help us live longer. And if you want two really good books from this podcast, the Mating in Captivity is amazing. And then also identifying and we talked about this earlier. Yes. Identifying the language of love that your partner has. There's the 5 languages of love. And we've talked about that before. Yeah. And I like to identify mine. I speak it to my partner now because I didn't do that before.
Yeah. So the love languages.
And then the other one is just identifying your erotic,
core erotic theme.
Core erotic theme. I always fuck it up.
Yeah. Episode 2.
But those 2 books specifically are really helpful. And then the core erotic theme is something that we've dived into. Dove.
Yeah.
Oh my God, please. I think English is no.
Someone sent me a hateful email if I said it wrong.
No.
It's dived.
No, dived down. So I think that in general, okay, and I never want to say walk away from something. And I have told my girlfriend, whom I adore and love, I said, look,
it might be time to walk away.
It might be time to walk away. And remember, we're always trying to create a win-win with everything. A win-win. And you can compromise, but never sacrifice. And if you're sacrificing a bit of something that is so important to you that there isn't a way around it, then I'm sorry, it's time to recalibrate and it's time to move on. And it's okay. It's hard. I know sometimes you have kids, you have houses, you have bank accounts, you have a million different things, but honey, this is life.
Yeah.
Move on.
Your needs are important. That's
your needs are your needs.
If someone is not willing to do the work and you have needs that they're not willing to do work on, then that's something to consider.
Otherwise, you're just going to have to. And if you're not willing to part ways with this person, and then
there's plenty of people that create new age relationships where they're in a companion marriage or relationship where they know that they're able to have other intimate relationships with other romantic relationships with people, but they still stay together.
Right.
And there's so many ways to be in relationship. It isn't just they're man and they're woman and they stay married and they have kids and they never separate and they only are attracted to each other. Right. They never want to fuck anyone else.
That's a load of bullshit.
That is like what is that? Like 1% of the population?
Maybe. And that's the 1% that if you want a good book, Sex at Dawn.
Oh yeah.
All
Sex
about
at Dawn. Oh yeah. So that podcast I was on, his podcast
I know.
is coming out in
Chris
a week
Ryan.
or 2. Yeah.
I'm in the middle of that book. It's fucking
God,
brilliant because I love research and that book is like totally amazing. I want to meet him. Yeah. He totally has a crush on you. Huge.
No, he has a crush on everyone.
He wants to bang it out.
But he's just a free spirit.
I think this episode encompassed a lot, and I hope that there's some great takeaways.
Oh wait, but I want to comment on one of the things.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So key points, people. Mating in Captivity. Let's talk about this real quick. We talked about that. It's by Esther Perel. So this is one thing for long-term relationships to consider. She suggests that we want a perfect balance of individuation and attachment. And individuation meaning I have my own life, my own hobbies, my own friends. I spend time with them. I do my thing. And attachment meaning I love my partner. We spend a lot of time together. We connect. We go do this together and that together. And if you're just doing one or the other, so I have my own life and all my friends and my own hobbies, and I do all on my own, and I never involve my partner in that, and I'm actually like doing more of that than spending time with my partner, that kills connection desire. Likewise, if we have too much attachment, all I do is stay with my partner all the time and never have any of my own anything. There's no mystery. There's no stories to share because we're sharing all the same things. That kills desire. So what Esther Perel suggests is you want a great balance of the two of them. I have my own thing, and we spend a lot of time connecting. So this is really, really common in long-term relationships to be out of balance with that. So looking at that. I already talked about spontaneous versus responsive sex drive. Also, if you're in a desire discrepancy situation with a partner where one person, maybe they want sex 6 days a week and you want sex 2 days a week, you find a middle ground there. And so one person isn't right.
Communicate.
And find the middle ground. And this is like the win-win that April talks about. It isn't like, partner. Oh, I'm just going to give in and have sex 6 days a week, even though that's not what I'm getting.
Or I'm not going to have sex at all because I'm not in the mood. Communicate.
Yes. Communicate.
Negotiate.
And find out a middle ground. Okay, I hear your needs for 6, mine are 2. Let's be in the middle and do 3 to 4.
And hopefully your partner is going to also want to get on board with that. I mean, you're trying to create a win-win. So,
and when you do the 3 to 4 here, doesn't mean it has to always be penetrative sex, because we still want you to listen to your yeses and your nos. So if you're getting a big no on penetrative sex, but you know that your partner has a lot of desire and you want to be able to connect with them and to meet their needs while still being true to your needs, you can be in a place of just giving. Maybe we'll use a hot octopus sex toy on you or on myself because I'm the horny one or you're the horny one, and I'll just watch, or mutual masturbation, or let's just make out and dry hump. There's so many ways there where people can still get needs met and still listen to their inner yeses and nos.
And also turn off the television, turn off your social media.
We talked about that.
Shut it down. Just be present with your partner.
And lastly, date nights, people. So we talked about the people who are really busy with their jobs or their children, and they're constantly trying to find time to just connect for 20 minutes. That, spontaneity is your best friend, because it's like, okay, we only have this time, so let's do what we can. And sometimes we need to plan shit. Like, hey, it's been hard to connect. Let's schedule a babysitter for this night.
And I have friends that are like, they have like 2 kids, and like, I haven't been out with my husband in 3 years. And I'm like, that's not okay.
Find a fucking
Get a sitter.
Friend or
Care.com, yo. Care.com. If you're in Santa Cruz, I'm really fucking great with kids, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't even really charge.
April will watch your
I will
children.
give them the realness of the world.
I probably won't, but April will. So schedule date nights, 1 date night a week. And date nights, okay, I'm gonna end this podcast with a couple of ideas of what you can do. You guys ready? I'm starting this thing that's eventually it's going to be 100. I'm not going to share 100 with you here, right? I'm not even at 100, but 100 things to do with your partner on a date night. So I'm going to just give you a couple ideas. Okay. Well, number 1, surprise your partner by decorating your kitchen, plus cooking dinner from a specific theme or country. A night in Italy, a night in Thailand, a night in Peru.
I love that. India. Because India's so pretty. Put some cushion on the ground.
I like it.
Do some and order in.
Hey.
You don't have to cook it. Just
I know you don't
just
even
order
have to cook if you
just
don't
order
have time.
it. Order it.
So and then there's your of course, go out to dinner. Yeah, go to a movie, blah, blah, blah. Spend your evening playtime touching and exploring, but with no words. Speak through touch and silence. Give your partner a sensual massage for absolutely no reason. Use lots of body-safe oils all over the body, and use more than your hands massage. Forearms, breasts, get creative.
I like that one because also you're giving a massage, so it's like connecting and relieving the stress of the day.
Lining. Yeah. Handwrite love letters to each other on fancy stationery and seal it up with a kiss, and then leave them in places that they'll find.
Ooh, or Post-its.
Post-its, yeah. Play a word game. Say a sensual, arousing, or erotic word, and then your lover can say a word in response. Repeat as long as desired and get aroused. I actually got this idea from someone else, and I really liked it.
Or the Mad Libs of like fun sex stuff, too.
Yeah.
Like do like a fake Mad Libs thing.
Yeah, you create your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Plan seemingly impossible adventures together. What do you want to do together? Then set a date and make them happen. Or plan adventures together. Just daydream. Like talk about what would we do if we didn't have these
only
kids
as big
job?
as your
Where
dreams are.
Yeah, just
only as big.
just
That's what I'm
play
doing.
with
I'm doing Croatia with my partner next month.
I like it. Wash your lover's hair for them. Give them a nice long head massage. Okay, then don't wash their hair, and give them a long, nice head massage as you shampoo. I like that. Give your lover oral sex while they are preparing dinner or washing dishes.
Ooh, that's hot. That's actually really fucking hot.
That's super hot.
While they're loading the dishwasher, although like you might get drips, and I'm a germaphobe, but like I like.
Oh my god! I can't believe you did that. Let's see. I'm gonna give you a couple more, but I have a massive list, and soon I will give you about 100 of them in some other way, shape, or form. Let's see. Try roleplay. See what personas you can take on. Go with whatever turns you on, or get creative and become animals or fictional characters.
You could be the goose to my maverick, Amy.
Mayday. Have underwear or naked cooking dinner nights. And then,
that's fun. In high heels. Do stripper nights.
Wait, you didn't let me finish.
Damn it.
And then dance in the kitchen as you cook in your underwear, but as April says, stripper nights.
I have stripper nights. P.S. I just put on stripper music that I love and like get my stripper heels on and literally.
Was that the doorbell?
Yep.
Do you need to go?
I don't know. Mr. Rogers style. Oh, man.
Okay.
But stripper nights, you've seen it. I've done a stripper night for you before.
Stripper moves are fucking ridiculous.
I'm not talking about like anybody could do it. Put on some stripper songs, get on some stripper heels. You don't have to take off stuff. I just come out, I do a whole thing. It is empowering as fuck and it's fun and literally it can turn on a whole. I've done it for girl partners.
Who is that?
Somebody's here.
Someone pounding at the door. Okay, I'm going to leave you last one, then we're going to say ciao for now. Learn how to say sexy phrases to each other in another language. Choose 5 to 6 words or phrases and have sex while only saying those words. Hot!
Oh, that's
all right.
So hot.
We're going to end it at that, people. End it at that.
Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. We love you all, and we'll see you next Tuesday, and ciao for now.
Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use coupon code SHAMELESSPP in all caps at purepleasureshop.com.